Hello, and welcome to episode 241 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. We are here for Monday Night Raw of week 3 of April, and it is the first show post the draft, and the new rosters have taken shape as we continue the build to the Raw-branded Backlash pay-per-view at the end of the month, which is on week 4, so we've got 2 more weeks until Backlash. But luckily for us, we do have an idea of where most of the matches are going for that show. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into tonight's show. Cody opens up, as has become tradition recently, because last week he ran out and saved Strong and Fish from a beatdown from Dudley Davis and Pete Dunne. And he says, I haven't really had a chance to come out here and address what William Regal had to say about me 2 weeks ago. Because he's right. He's right in that NXT, the brand that he was at the helm of, the brand that my father helped build, the brand that Triple H quite famously ran, was my opposition, and I did spearhead a movement against that particular show. However, for William Regal to come out here and tell me, of all people, what Dusty would have wanted. So let me tell you one thing here. You hit one thing that really struck close to home when you spoke to me, Regal, is that you referred to the NXT group as Dusty's Kids. Now, this isn't the first time I've heard the phrase Dusty's Kids being used to describe the NXT generation. In fact, the NXT generation that were coming up when I was here last time, those were Dusty's Kids, while Dusty's actual kid ran around dressed up for star painted on his face. So, you knew how I'd react to that comment, Regal, and you are taking things to a level I'm not sure you want them to go to, because I didn't go out there and fight against NXT. I didn't do that to fight against my father's wishes. I listened to my father's wishes. My father told me, go be the best man you can damn well be. Go make yourself a star. Go make yourself the world champion. And me staying here floundering wasn't going to get me the world title. I had to go out. I had to prove that I belonged at the top of WWE, and I did that, and now I'm back to get my championship, my father's championship that he never got, Regal, and you are standing here getting in my way. So how about it? You can't wrestle anymore. Okay, you were the general manager for 8 years. I get that. But you got a lot of stock in this bruiserweight of yours, Mr. Regal. Almost so that he was once called a young William Regal. Hell, are we sure he's not your son? Is he not your kids? The same way the NXT guys are Dusty's kids? Nevertheless, Dudley Davis, if that is your real name, Pete Dunne, whichever one of you listening, step up, because I'm going to be at Backlash in 2 weeks, and one of you will see me there. So Cody, making no bones about it, he wants Pete Dunne and or Dudley Davis at Backlash. Not and, actually, it won't be a handicap match. So it'll either be Pete Dunne, probably Pete Dunne, and then Dudley Davis. Another option, but probably not who he's going to be. Codyverse of Madness going. This is a proper Codyverse storyline. I know we've jumped right into the deep end, but like, this is absolutely the sort of storyline you could see playing out in the actual Codyverse, which is why I was like, yeah, well, let's do it. Veer Mahan, coming to Raw. When will he get here? Nobody knows, but he's coming to Raw. There's something for a nice banger of a tag team match. Path of the Dragon, who we've been seeing sort of react to Firefly Funhouse vignettes over the last couple of weeks. They beat the Viking Raiders in 12 minutes 31. Tozawa pins Eric with a diving senton. 72 for Carrillo, 80 for Tozawa, and a 73 for Eric and a 72 for Ivar. Tozawa is this little run they had in the gauntlet, and like the couple, and keeping them strong in segments of Bray and Willow over the last month has really helped these two. They're now like no longer the bottom of the barrel babyface tag team, because I think on my rankings list I've got my personal spreadsheet. I think Diamond and Mansur, who I'm gonna do stuff with later on in the show, I need to really build them up. Same with Hit Row and think those are the only two teams below Path of the Dragon, because you've got the Street Profits, the Mysterios, and New Day above them. So those are the top tier tag teams, and I think Path of the Dragon, they are nicely above that low tier now. So that's fun. And speaking of, Firefly Fun has put on the Titantron. Bray's like, "Hey guys, look at you, Susie. Look at him." He points at Luchasaurus. He's like, "Oh my god, is that a big dinosaur?" He's like, that is a big dinosaur." See, what those two guys don't realize is they think having a Jurassic reptile in their corner is enough to combat the forces of them. You know, him and his new friend, the tag team champions. So he's like, well, do they know that that's bad? That's not going to work out in their favor, Bray. Say, well, here's the thing. We can't see them because we're stuck here in the funhouse. But we'll see these two at not WrestleMania Backlash, just normal Backlash. We'll see these two at Backlash when they challenge for their tag team championships. And so he's like, yeah, well, that sounds fun. Is he going to let his friend know? And he's like, yeah, I think he'll know, Susie. Bang, the lights go off. And when they come back on, Willow is just standing in the ring. He's perched on the top turnbuckle, holding his little umbrella behind his head. Tozawa and Carrillo sort of look around, see him, and then all three of the Path of the Dragon boys are alert of Willow's presence. He sort of just twirls the umbrella around. It's got like the black and white stripes, so it would look like the sort of weird illusion thing. He stands there twirling it, then hops down onto the mat. Just sort of gets into the face, does his Willow laugh, his Willow scream, and then lights go out again and he's gone. So we have announced tag team title match. Path of the Dragon against the Fiend and Willow. Bit of a mismatch, but they have got a big dinosaur in their corner to maybe combat the Fiend if they need him. Backstage segment. Alexa, she's walking through the hallway. She just took to these random people, like nameless backstage workers. She's like, "Excuse me, do you know where I could find the J-Flow locker room?" And they're like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to find the J-Flow locker room." She's like, "Listen, can't you hear it?" And then we can hear in the distance the distorted sound of a K-pop beat. Alexa's like, "Oh, I hear it now, yeah, okay." And then we watch her follow her on. She knocks on the J-Flow room door, and then Mackie opens the door like ajar, sticks her head out, and we can see behind her there's like weird flash of lights as they practice. And she's like, "What?" Alexa's like, "Well, I just wanted to come and see how you girls were hanging because you see Nova Nebula, she disrespected me on my talk show on Heat last week, and now she's facing one of you five in her debut here on Raw. I want to know how you were preparing for that match because I want to make sure that she gets humbled." And then bang, the door slams in her face. No answer from Mackie, but well, I guess they're ready. Mina is the member that steps up. Nova beats her in 5:26 with the area 451. 64 for Nova, 55 for Mina. And yeah, 60 overall. That's actually a fairly okay debut. Could be better, but could have been a lot worse. We then see Regal. He's leaving the locker room of him and Pete Dunne and Dudley. And then Kevin Patrick comes up to him and is like, "Alright, Mr. Regal." And Regal's like, "An Irish gentleman? Oh, you're new." It's like, "How can I help you?" He's like, "I was just wondering if you heard what Cody Rhodes had to say earlier on." It's like, "Yes, of course I heard what Cody Rhodes had to say. You see, my respect for... I do respect Cody. That's why I took exception to the way he acted. And why I have to take back everything from him that he stole. From his father and from me and from Triple H. And so he wants to challenge one of my boys for Backlash. Well, it's on Pete. Pete will see him at Backlash, Cody, and he'll make sure that your return to WWE wasn't quite what you expected. But my boys, they're ready to fight tonight, Irish gentleman." And Gulak comes up and is like, "Excuse me, Mr. Regal. You know, I sort of model a lot of my game off you. And as a former United States champion, I do like to consider myself great at this whole thing, but it can never hurt to learn from one of the greats. So you've got Dudley Davis, you've got Pete Dunne. I was wondering if there was a room for me to sort of coach or get coached or take a role in your squadron." It's like, "Excuse me, you scoundrel, what do you think you are asking of me? You don't get to come to me and ask to be a part of my elusive crew, okay? I come to you with a proposition. And then Riddle walks in, he's like, hey, sorry about Drew, bro. He's just really, like, so on the fence because he's new to this whole Raw place, bro. And he's just looking for friends. But little as you know, he's got me, bro. Brolak, that's what they call us. And Riddle, of course, looks at him all disgusted. He's like, Matt, you are... You know what? Never mind. Like I said, my two boys are looking to a fight tonight. So if you two really want to prove to me what you got and want to earn my respect, you'll face Pete and Dudley tonight in a tag team match. It's like, oh, that sounds fantastic, bro. We'll see you in the ring, dude. So Riddle and Gulak against Pete Dunne and Dudley Davis later on tonight. Just a fun segment because I'm going to start doing more like quick segments backstage to set up matches on the show, so that even then you've got a slight little bit of build to all the matches on the show instead of just going, here's a match. Speak of the devil, Jimmy Smith is doing a sit-down interview with another new Raw signing, the former NXT champion Ronnie Hughes. And Jimmy's like, okay, Ronnie, this is your first time as an actual full-time member of the Raw roster. Of course, we saw you back at Survivor Series. You went toe-to-toe with the Tribal Chief and with Finn Balor back when you were the NXT champion, but it's really time to open up to the WWE Universe. Who is Ronnie Hughes and why should we be excited for his arrival here on Raw? And Ronnie's like, if my debut match at Survivor Series, hanging with two of the top guys in the history of this business, didn't prove to you that Ronnie Hughes, the big bull Ronnie Hughes, is money, I don't know what will. Okay, so here's my background, Jimmy. Top pick, NFL draft, former Miami Dolphins quarterback. Never won a Super Bowl, played in the Super Bowl final. This is my history. I've made it in the world of professional football, and I'm here to make it in the world of WWE. Because I'm primetime, baby. That's Ronnie. Gives him a wink. Because I do want him to make him, like, cocky, because he is, like, in the game, he's like an ex-retired footballer. So I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to make him, like, kind of a big deal, but I do want him to be a babyface, so, like, he's got to know he's money and know he's primetime and the big bull and shit, but he's still got to be charming, so we're going to have him wink at people and shit. Then the Miz walks in, he's like, primetime, huh? Takes his glasses off, he's like, let me tell you something about primetime. Primetime is not NFL rejects coming into WWE because they failed to win the Super Bowl. No, let me tell you what primetime is. Primetime is WWE legends, Grand Slam champions, WrestleMania main eventers, opening up the eyes to weird little rookies like Ronnie Hughes by being gracious enough to share the spotlight with them, at least temporarily. That's primetime. Being with The Miz is primetime. Shanky, he's primetime. Ronnie's like, you've got a lot of big mouths for somebody who was taken in round 7 of the WWE draft. Hey, I was drafted a lot before that. And Miz is like, really? First night on the job, you're going to disrespect me? Well, I'll tell you what, you need to go in that ring tonight and we'll see if you're still being disrespectful. Because Shanky is going to beat the respect out of you. Shanky's like, Miz, no, I don't want to wrestle him. It's like, too bad, Shanky. You should teach this guy a lesson. So Ronnie Hughes has his debut against Shanky, also gets a 60. This one's actually better than Nova's because he got 69 and Shanky got 35, whereas Nova and Mina both got 64 and 65. But of course Ronnie wins with a flash pounce. Probably would be a cool finisher for him because he's a football guy. 69 for Ronnie Hughes and 35 for Shanky. So yeah, Big Ronnie is here on Raw, and he's looking to make a statement. My Regen, my first complete. I think I had kind of what I called him. There was a Regen guy that was in one of the extras for like a cup of coffee, but as with all the extras, they get rotated out with just random nameless background characters. So Ronnie's like the first actual character as a full-time member of the roster. So he'll be fun. I get to put whatever I want on him without feeling like I'm disrespecting the actual person because he doesn't exist. Bianca Belair. It's like, girl, if you didn't think I was the EST before the draft, now you know, because Bianca Belair, the roughest, the toughest, the quickest, the fastest, the everything, was taken so early in the WWE draft. Here for the A show, wanted her to add to their prestigious women's division. And let me tell you, I'm coming for that gold. And Rhea Ripley, you can look out, you can run, but you can't hide because I'm your worst nightmare, bitch. I'm the nightmare-est. And Scarlett walks in. She's like, you know, hi, I was just looking up. I've been here for a while, but I'm just really getting my feet wet into the whole in-ring competitor thing. And Bianca, you've been a former WWE Women's Champion. You won the Royal Rumble. You main event WrestleMania. How about me and you on Heat? And Bianca's like, girl, I'm gonna kick your ass. So just a quick segment to set up a Heat match, because Bianca doesn't have a match on this show. So I'm like, yeah, watch Heat to see Bianca. That will draw him in. We then cut to a very well filmed diss track from Hit Row. They're dropping their first fire bars in their main roster life. Basically, it's going to also serve as a further like character piece for everybody. Top Dollar, they call him that because he's top dollar, etc. The Adonis, She Be Fab, all of that. Getting over like their stuff, the Hit Row stuff. I did it in a segment last week, but also in the form of a rap because they're Hit Row. But also simultaneously dissing the Balor Club and Finn. And Swerve will drop a bar about them having a match at Backlash, because they are going to have a match at Backlash, Swerve Scott and Finn Balor. And then we do the Connell TEW special of they're watching it backstage on the monitor. Like the rap finishes, and then it cuts to an angle of it being watched on the on the TV by the Balor Club. And Finn's like, can you believe this guy? Like, I had the nerve to actually make him what he is. He wouldn't have this platform if it wasn't for me. And he disrespects me like this. Well, I'm going to kick his ass at WrestleMania Backlash because there's 3 of him, 3 of us. It's a level playing field. And Santos is like, but Finn, what about the girl? Or the chick, he'd probably call her because he's Santos Escobar. And Balor's like, you know, the girl is a bit of a problem, but if she becomes too much to handle, we'll have to find other ways to deal with her. And Ridge is like, what are you saying, Finn? He's like, I'm saying I see an empty spot here. Maybe we can be on the lookout for somebody to even the numbers completely. Becky comes out with Kaylee Ray. She has to see a recap of what happened in the main event of Heat, where she attacked Rhea and sat on her with the chair. And she takes the chair, she sits on the chair, and sits and faces the crowd. And she's like, as a wise man once said, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another neighbour's face. Rhea, you ran around with my championship for too long already. It's been 2 weeks. Look at what you're doing to me. Because she's ripped her hair out. She's got the new Becky haircut. It's like, look at what you're doing. Look at what I can't live without that championship, Rhea. You are responsible for this. You are responsible for ruining my life. But it's fine. Because I'm going to ruin yours at Backlash, Rhea. Because I spoke to the WWE Board of Directors and Shane McMahon and Stephanie and all those people, the people that I would need to speak to. And I'm getting a rematch at Backlash, but there's not going to be any old rematch. Oh no. They want a big time rematch. I mean, having big time Bex in it is big time in and of itself, but they want an even bigger match, a match bigger than the WrestleMania match. Which is where I question you, Rhea. You got lucky catching me off guard once. I made 1 lapse in my judgment, and because of that you took everything from me. You ruined my life. You drove me insane, Rhea. I haven't fed the baby in a week, but it's fine because Mummy's coming home with the real baby at Backlash. Because Rhea, 1 mistake won't be enough to beat me at Backlash. No. 1 mistake will only help you moderately with 1 fall as I smash and smash and smash and smash you with this chair and any old weapon I can get my hands on. Because then I'll have my 2 falls, my 3, my 4, my 5, my 6, my 7, my 8, my 9, my etc. Doesn't matter how many. More than you, Rhea, because let's listen to this. You like to call yourself metal? Let's see if you can put your money where your mouth is, Rhea. Iron does indeed sharpen iron, and my iron sharpened your face last week. And let's see if you can sharpen mine. Be my Iron Woman. And meet me in the main event of Backlash for 60 minutes. And then we'll see who the best woman really is. Then Liv comes out. Liv not had a good time of things recently. She got beat by Rhea on the WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania. Then was overlooked in favour of Ruby, her tag team partner, for a title shot by Rhea last week. And then kicked up a stink and lost to Asuka. But Rhea's here this week. Liv's here this week. Rhea's not, because she got attacked on Heat. And Liv's like, wow, Becky, that was such a fine speech, and you're really going to try and take the championship in this Iron Woman match. But I deserve to be in that spot, Becky, not you. You've had your chance. Move to the back of the line. I'm tired of being overlooked. Rhea overlooked me 2 weeks in a row. I'm not going to let it be a third. I'm going to prove to her that I deserve to be on that level. Becky, you face me right now. And Becky's like, okay, Liv, calm down. Fine, if you want to get embarrassed by Big Brain Bex, then let's go for it. So we get Becky and Liv. In a 76, Becky beats Liv, manhandle slam. Didn't have a story attached, that's why it didn't get that good. But Liv loses again. Pump handle slam, manhandle slam, beats Liv in 10:41. Liv gets a 71 and a 93 for Becky. And after the match, Becky goes to leave. Kaylee Ray sort of just looks over Liv. And she's like, Becky, you're going to leave her like that? And she's like, you know what, that's a good point. Takes the chair, continues to maul on Liv, puts the disarmer on over the chair around her arm. Liv's tapping and tapping and tapping. She already taps with the disarmer, and then manhandle slam, visual pin, so she can get the two visual falls. Like, oh, there we go, Rhea, that'll be you at Backlash, etc. for the Iron Man match. But Liv having a rough old time of things. Gets carried out during the commercial break. Angel Garza and his MILF lover, Dixie Carter, are just chilling backstage. Garza's like, you know, I haven't really been doing good stuff here on Raw recently. I don't know what it is about me. I'm feeling down. Glad to have you here, obviously. You're the woman of my life. No, I've never loved a woman like you. Dixie, you're the one for me. And Dixie's like, hey, honey, focus. You got championships to win. Matches to win. Stocks to rise here on Raw. All those people that were holding you back before, honey, they're now gone. And there's a new wave of faces that have come to this brand that at the minute are lesser than you. Do you want to stand around and let them overtake you? Or do you want to do something about it and stomp about before they can get that far? Garza's like, You make excellent point, babe. So, maybe Dixie's finally got Garza focused. Now a Big E segment. And he's like, well, the WWE draft is officially in the books. And we now know what the Raw roster will look like heading forward. Which means I now know which WWE superstars are in line for a shot at my World Heavyweight Championship. And I've got a couple of monkeys on my back already. You know, like Big Walter, Bobby Lashley, guys like that. And then Walter comes out, and he's like, Biggie, you never answered my challenge. Last week, I told you I want the first shot at your World Heavyweight Championship, and you ducked and ran away from me, and let Sheamus take the beating from Ilja. And he's like, I'm not ducking you, Big Walter. I mean, you're a fucking tough guy. You're like gonna kick my ass, but I welcome that fight. And then Bobby Lashley and MVP and the Hurt Business come out. It's like, shut your dumb asses up. Listen here, Walter. That is your real name. There's only one person on this brand that deserves a shot at Big E next, and it ain't you. It's the almighty Bobby Lashley, because the Hurt Business is booming coming out of WrestleMania, and we're done with your fat ass. And Paul's like, you 9, come say that to my face. And then Bobby Lashley and Walter get into it again, and Big E's like, enough. I'm tired of all of this kerfuffling on my show. Listen here, Bobby, you want a shot at my World Heavyweight Championship? Then fine, I'll see you in the ring at Backlash. And Bobby's like, oh, sick. And Walter's like, Nine, you are scared of me. He's like, no, I'm not finished with you, boy. Walter, if you want a championship match against me, then I'll see you at Backlash too. I'll see both of your asses in a triple threat match and defend and prove why I am the Big E, the World Heavyweight Champion, and I put you both down for 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 and 5. So that's a big time triple threat match. Lashley, Walter, and Big E. Triple threat match for the world title at Backlash. I'm sure that will end well with these two still butting heads. Tag team match. Charlotte and Jordan are in action against Smile and Shine. Their first match on Raw. Charlotte wins. She defeats Kylie Ray with the figure 8 in 10:23. Charlotte gets an 88. Jordan's on a 72. I can't remember the last time she wrestled, but I guess just standing next to Charlotte has helped her out a lot. 74 for Tegan and a 67 for Kylie. Post-match promo. So I was like, well. Guess if I'm still not being allowed opportunities for the Raw Women's Championship, I guess Brandy Rhodes now runs the Raw Women's division. She thought she could put the Queen down, but there's no one can put me down. Woo. I made one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions submit on the debut episode of Heat. The first match in the history of Heat. Long may it reign. The Queen stands tall. And I do believe that, and plus this tag team victory we've just scored here tonight, will earn us a shot at the women's tag team titles. So, Io and Kyrie, you can pack your bags, fly over to Raw, because you're not wrestling at the SmackDown pay-per-view, honey. You're wrestling on Raw's pay-per-view. Well, there's not a SmackDown pay-per-view. Fuck. Yeah, because you're wrestling at Backlash, babes, against the Queen and the Princess, and that's supposed to be the end of your title reign, because it's Charlotte Flair, and when Charlotte Flair is in a championship match, she's inevitable. Backstage segment. R-Truth is running through the hallway trying to escape any kind of challenger for his 24/7 title, and he runs around the corner at full speed. He bumps into Malcolm Bivens. Bivens like, well, watch where you're fucking going, Truth. It's like, sorry. It's like, you know, I used to respect you, Truth. You used to be one of my favourite people. I used to go, haha, this guy, he's really funny. He really reminds me of me. But now I'm seen as a punk ass bitch. And Truth's like, you're really funny, little bald man. And Bivens like, what did you call me? It's like, I said, you're really funny, little bald man. What are you gonna do? Teach me a lesson? Short stack? And Bivens like, he laughs like, I'm not gonna teach you a lesson, Truth. And then a massive towering shadow just like eclipses the entire scene. And then Bivens just points out, he's like, he will though. And obviously Truth turns around and there standing down at him is Omos. So Truth may have bitten off more than he can chew. But first, speaking of the 24/7 title, last week it was stolen by a pesky luchador named Red Thunder, who then lost to Ludwig Kaiser. And Ludwig stole his mask. And we then see like Ludwig's locker, Ludwig's lair wherever he wants. He's got like empty walls with like shelves with nothing on it, and there's just like a little mannequin head on one of them. And Ludwig's like, Ludwig's locker. As you can see here, I have room for all of my prizes in WWE that I reach. And he pulls out the Red Thunder mask, puts it on the little mannequin head. He's like, this mask has no prestige. It's an awful mask. But it is my first prize. With many, many more to come. Soon my vault, my lair will be filled with all of my earnings here in this company. Championships, just collectibles, trophies, and just stuff to remember my enemies by. So Ludwig's got like a weird collector sort of thing. He took the mask off the jobber he beat last week and hung it up in his lair as a reminder, as a token of his second victory here on Raw. Here's the squash match. Omos just destroys R-Truth. That's his first match on Raw. We're giving him squash, gonna build him up. Title's not on the line here, but Omos is victorious, standing over R-Truth. He gets a 73 and a 56 for Truth. Cameron Grimes is backstage with Kevin Patrick. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now, Cameron Grimes. It's like, hey, KP, how's it going? It's like, I'm doing good, Cameron, but Backlash is vastly approaching, and you don't have an opponent for your Intercontinental Championship yet. I was wondering if you had anything planned for the show. It's like, yeah, no, I'm a fighting champion. When I kicked the Miz's ass 2 weeks ago, that really took a whole weight off my shoulder, because I thought I wasn't going to be able to defend my title, and I was going to be a flash in the pan champion. Miz is like, silence! I'm not in the mood. You really think you're better than me because you got lucky once? Shanky here didn't live up to his end of the bargain. Shanky here kind of let me down tonight. So I got to do everything myself, because I can't have you out here besmirching my bad name. As the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time, I take offense to the fact that you said you kicked my ass. And if anything, if we were to have a rematch for that title, I'd hit you harder than the fucking stock chain. And your price and your stock and your championship reign, much like your beloved crypto, down, 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 down. Because the Miz and the A-list, that's the stock to buy, baby. Graham's like, that sounds like a challenge to me for Backlash. And Miz's like, oh, congratulations, you got it. Graham's like, well, I'll fucking see you there. I'll beat you again, Miz. Miz's like, excellent. Time to become the 11-time Intercontinental Champion. We then cut to a dark room. Like, we see Karrion Kross just standing in a dark room, and then we pan out and we see that he's staring at himself in a mirror, like with no lights on. It's just in the dark. You can just see his little edgy face poking up out the dark, and he's like, my name is not important. What is important is what I'm gonna do. I just fucking hate this world and the human worms feasting on its carcass. My whole life is just cold, bitter hatred, and I always wanted to die violently. This is the time of vengeance, and no life is worth saving. And I will put in the grave as many as I can. It's time for me to kill, and it's time for me to die. My genocide crusade begins here. And it truly will be nothing personal, kids. We then cut to that edgy ass son of a bitch promo, to the complete opposite. We cut to a shot of like an anime con, and everyone's watching at home like, why the fuck are we seeing like 20-second clips of an anime con? But then of course it pans in and we see Mansoor and Dio Madden standing at the entrance, and he's like, Dio, why are we here? It's like, listen, you see, I'll admit, me and you, we're the besties in the world, okay? And man, it's like, yeah, we are. It's like, well, our run on SmackDown as a tag team wasn't going according to plan. We need to really find our footing here. And now we're on Raw. Even tougher composition awaits. So we need to do something about ourselves and find our inner power. And then Manny's like, so why are we here? And Dio's like, you could never find better power than at Anime Con. My sensei is here. And Mansoor's like, your sensei? Yeah, they're here. I've got to go find them. So what you're saying is, Dio, to fight our competition on Monday Night Raw. We need the power of anime on our side. And Dio's like, not just anime, Manny. Puts his hand on his shoulder. But God, too. And he just goofy smiles as we fade to black. So, I've had Dio and Manny as a tag team, like, for so long. And they've just been, up until this point, vanilla babyface tag team. But I'm going to try and give everybody something fun this season. And this is something I can absolutely see myself falling in love with. So we're going to become a sort of weeby anime tag team, and we'll see how their story progresses. I imagine these vignettes similar to the MSK Shaman vignettes, except that, like, instead of two stoners looking for their shaman, it's two weebs looking for their sensei. So yeah, they'll be arriving at Raw soon with a whole new attitude. And of course I had to get the whole thing about God and anime. 78. There's a lot of red here. Lack of psychology. Gulak got an injury. Riddle got a 96. Oh, it's because of excellent chemistry. But Pete Dunne and Dudley beat Gulak and Riddle. Big Dudders scores the pinfall over Gulak with the Dudley device. I can't remember if I explained this last week because it's been so long since I recorded it. The Dudley device is the rebound lariat that Tyler Bate does. It's a Dudley device because it's a clothesline like the Doomsday device. And his name's Dudley, and it alliterates. Yeah, it's funny, and it would be a cool finisher as well. It would get over as a finisher, like the Buckshot does. 85 for Pete, 80 for Dudders. He's hanging really strongly in his first couple of matches. Gulak 79, but he was injured, so... And then Riddle 96. Jesus Christ, Matt. Chill. Mattress ad. Here at Big Mattress Inc., we care about your sleep. Then see a backstage segment, Liv sort of having the doctors tend to her. They're like, Liv, are you okay? He's like, can you move your arm? She's like, yeah, I can move my arm. And Ruby's like, Liv, oh my god, what happened? And Liv's like, what do you mean, what happened? Were you not watching the show, Ruby? Ruby's like, no, I was busy trying to check up on Rhea and see where Rhea was. I wasn't watching, what happened? And Liv just stares at the Ruby. She's like, nothing, it's fine. So I know. Ruby's like, no, Liv, what happened? What happened? He's like, it's fine, Ruby, it's fine. Leave me alone. Ruby's like, okay, you're acting kind of weird lately, but let me know when you're good to go and we can hang out, yeah? She's like, sure, just leave me alone. And then Ruby leaves as we ponder on a very annoyed Liv Morgan. 87 rated main event. We announced it last week. Sheamus has been at loggerheads with Randy and Edge since the formation of the still yet to be named group. Won't be called the Judgment Day in my world because that's a pay-per-view. But anyway, Sheamus beats Randy Orton clean, a bro kick. I had Sheamus lose to Ilja because I saw I had that promise and I was like, yeah, that'd be a cool match. Let's just do that and get the promise out of the way. So I really needed to heat him up. He's going to be fighting Edge at Backlash, which he is. That's the announcement here. So yeah, he kicks Randy's head off and pins him clean on his Raw return. 85 for Randy, 71 for Sheamus. And then after the match, as you'd expect, 3-on-1 assault to end the show as these three stand tall over Sheamus' downed body. 90 rated show overall. This is a really fun episode of Raw. This is what Season 5 is going to be looking like, people. Veer Mahan coming to Raw. Fucking J-Flow, Nova Nebula skits. Diss tracks. Garza and Dixie. Whatever the fuck that Karrion Kross promo was. Ludwig Kaiser in his vault. Manny, My Wrestling Academia, Manny and Dio. Mattress ads. Yeah. I hope you enjoy shit like that, because we're getting a lot more of that this season. And I'll see you on the other side for Heat, where we'll know that Bianca Belair and Scarlett will go one-on-one. We start off Heat with a banger of a match. Naomi gets a nice win over Ember Moon in 11:31. I had them go all out because I thought like this match going all out would be kind of cool, and it was right. But Naomi gets the nice win. She got 60. Ember got 76. I'm trying to get Naomi better, but 60 seems to be her limit. But I'm gonna keep trying. I refuse to give up. Because, like, yeah, Naomi, she's cool. She's having, like, the best run of her life, to me, personally, right now. And, like, yeah, I want to help get her up there. We then cut backstage. Brandy's in here. She's overlooking the show. She's not going to be a presence on the show apart from this one segment tonight. But she's here. She's the overarching head of the women's division. When in walk Indy. Goes, "Da-da-da-da, please be on your feet for the arrival of the boss, Sasha Banks." She's like... Hello, Brandy. What makes you think you're the boss of me? Okay. So I want to come here to introduce myself. Check out this women's show. See what it's all about. I like what you've done with the place. You know? Don't forget to thank me every time you run an episode of Heat, by the way, because there wouldn't be an all-women show about me and my presence and my overall help and expansion of the women's division. And Brandy's like, bitch, who the hell told you tonight was open mic night? But since you're here, how about you want to wrestle on the all-women show tonight? Sasha's like, not really. But Brandy's like, too bad, because in this room, I'm the boss. So you're going to go one-on-one with an NXT star / Heat free agent, Saray. And Sasha's like, ugh, fine, I'll kick her ass. So Sasha's going to be in action on Heat. 61 rated tag team match. Didn't have time for the standard Platinum Princess squash match on Raw this week. So we'll put them on Heat. They beat Gigi and JC. Aaliyah pinched Gigi with the Arabian Night. 62 for Aaliyah, 60 for Skylar, 39 for JC, 50 for Gigi. That's fine, I guess. Yeah. Dakota Kai has a fucking sick promo talking about her women's championship reign, how there's a whole new show to build up challenges for her. It doesn't matter. Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, Sasha Banks, Bayley, all of them built themselves up as challengers. And with Tegan Nox now off her show, that monkey off her back, she can look ahead to kicking some new faces off. We'll have to see who that will be in due time, but she's just letting us know that she's here. It's pre-recorded, it's not live. It's, yeah. Jesus Christ! I think this Sasha Banks girl might be a really good wrestler. She beat Saray in 14-11 with a bank statement. Sasha gets a 93, Saray gets a 53, and the match gets an 87. Holy fuck balls. That's going to help Saray a lot, that is. That's fun. I have a potential role for Saray. So, yeah. That's why she got this spot in the first place. As a tryout, I guess. We then get a quick video with Double Trouble, Anne-Marie Porter and Kelsey Cook announcing who they are, what they're all about, and that they're going to make their debut on SmackDown this week after they got drafted there. So look forward to that, kids. And the main event won't be as good as Saray and Sasha. Still not bad, and they didn't click, so even not clicking, that's still really good. Bianca and Scarlett have their match. Bianca wins with a KOD in 9:33. 73 for Bianca, 61 for Scarlett. Again, they don't click, so they should be getting better than that, but oh well. And Bianca whips her hair around, she wins. She closes out the second episode of Heat. Gets a 78. That's pretty good. And that fucking Sasha Banks Saray match, holy fuck balls. Anyway, what matters more than that is what you thought of the shows, Raw and Heat. Do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown and Group C and D of the Cruiserweight World Cup. See you then.